Hello, I'm Bill LeMay, and thank you for watching Community Matters. We hope you'll continue to watch as we discuss issues facing our community and provide you with the resources and information needed to find solutions. There's a 120-block area in East Durham with a vision for the future of every child born within its boundaries. The East Durham Children's Initiative is committed to changing outcomes and expectations for their children and families that live there. Now, here to explain how they hope to make that impact is David Reese, President and CEO of EDCI. David, what a pleasure. Welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you for having us. We appreciate it.
Well, this is exciting stuff. Tell us about it.
So the East Durham Children's Initiative, as we call it, EDCI, we use the acronym, it's Durham's opportunity to change outcomes for kids. It's a place-based model, 120 blocks, 1.2 square miles of what was, or and I say used to be, almost like considered the worst part of town, where kids weren't having success, where tremendous odds in which kids would have to face if they were going to think about how they would be successful Durhamites.
Well, and that's been a challenge for, gosh, I don't know how long. People have been trying to find a way to make that, or any area, better. How long has this been going on now?
So 2011 was when we started our full implementation with bringing in a whole host of partners and really beginning to impact lives of kids.
Do you have kind of someone you're taking a lead off of? I mean, is this pattern after somebody else?
I wish we were smart enough to say we created it ourselves, right?
Yes, well, you can say that.
Yeah, I wish.
I'm going to challenge you, David.
But the model is based off of the Harlem Children's Zone in New York.
Oh, yes.
You know, Jeffrey Canada has this model in Harlem, and it's worked just fabulously in terms of moving children and families along this continuum, where children are performing better academically, communities are changing. We wanted to take that model and make it work for Durham. There are certain things that work really well in Harlem, but then every community needs to adopt what's going to work best for their community. And we've done that in Durham, so we look similar, and then we also look like ourselves.
Well, and if I may ask, how successful has Harlem's initiative been?
Harlem's initiative is very successful.
Yeah.
President Obama in 2008 decided that this should be replicated throughout the United States and a variety of other cities called Promised Neighborhoods. EDCI, in its inception, we were thinking about what could this look like. We actually applied for a Promised Neighborhoods grant. We scored really well in the high 90s, but we weren't chosen. I actually think that was the absolute best thing that happened.
Why do you say that?
Well, it forced our community to continue to work, as well as then make the decision. Well, if we weren't going to get federal dollars, how important was it for us to continue to work to change outcomes for kids? We made the decision as a community, federal dollars or not, this was what was going to happen, and we would make life for children in Durham that much better.
This is really so exciting. So let's talk about, well, how do you define the 120 blocks?
Yeah. Great question. So it's the attendance zone for our target elementary school, Y.E. Smith. We chose Y.E. Smith because some dubious facts just sort of about the school, the community as itself. The school at the time was the lowest performing elementary school in Durham Public Schools. The zone had the highest rates of crime, teen pregnancy, substance abuse, childhood abuse and neglect. Should I go on? You know,
I get the picture.
But this was it. This is it, though. If we can make it work there, then guess what?
It can work anywhere.
It can work anywhere.
Sure.
We could pick it up and drop it in any other part of Durham, any other city, similar sized city across the country. We also could then do it in other parts of the triangle. It can be replicated in Orange County. It can be replicated in Southeast Raleigh. That's the beauty of the model. It's scalable and replicatable.
So, all right, you have this challenge, and it's a big challenge.
It is.
What are you going to do differently to make a difference in a neighborhood like that?
Well,
because it's not just the child, is it?
No, it's not just the child, and this is really about the community as a whole. You know, I often remind folks that our work really, it's in East Durham, but it's really not about East Durham. It's really about Durham as a whole. And so as we think about how we move children and families along this continuum towards college or career, as we walk along this journey, it's not just EDCI and our partners supporting our kids and families, but it's all of Durham supporting our kids and families, because this is going to make Durham a better place.
Well, I know we're going to be talking about partners and that coming up in the show, but how difficult has it been for you? Because to get parents involved with their kids in something like this? Because I know they're probably busy. A lot of them have 2 jobs. Sometimes they're single moms, single dads, that sort of thing. How have you gotten past that barrier or challenge, maybe? It's a better word.
So I think there are a lot of challenges. I think there are a lot of barriers, but I think there are also a lot of myths. We did a community assessment several years ago, and what we found was that every parent wants their child to have success, right?
Sure.
And we knew this, right? But we had to do the community assessment to actually have the data to confirm it. But the other biggest takeaway was majority of the families back in our zone have high school diplomas or no high school diploma, but the expectation for their child was that their child receive a graduate degree. That was amazing.
Wow, that is amazing.
And
actually,
but
yes.
what it really did was it just affirmed what we knew and allowed us to be able to shout to the world, yes. Just because we have parents and kids who live within low wealth communities across our country, it doesn't mean that their expectations for their children are any different than the wealthiest person in America.
That's amazing. I mean, it truly is. And obviously, you know, with an educated population, the sky's the limit. The American dream is there for them. So what are your expectations? I know you originated in 2011, but it takes time. You know, kids grow up and it's, you see improvement 1 year, but what happens 10 years from now?
Yeah, and so, you know, we started this planning process, and the process actually started about 2009, where we actually brought folks together, and we planned for 2 years before we actually said, we're ready to start with implementation. The goal for EDCI long term is that we continue to walk with children and families along this journey so that they're working towards being kindergarten ready, so that kids are then moving towards being proficient by 3rd grade, so that we're helping them through these transitions so 5th graders are successcally transitioning to middle school.
So it doesn't stop in any particular grade.
It doesn't stop. And
That's so important, I think.
this is why it's called it's called a cradle to college or career model, because it's literally, we identify children that are born yesterday. And our oldest kids right now are soon to be 7th graders. The school year is coming to a close fairly soon, but we're going to move with those children as to the next grade, and we'll continue to move with them until they're ready to walk through the university of their choice.
Oh, that is so exciting. David, I think you're going to stay with us for another segment.
I will.
And we're going to be joined by one of your partners and other folks to talk about this really, I think, exciting opportunity for not only Durham, but for all of us. But we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we'll find out more, so don't you dare go anywhere.